Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Mommy Guide Inc., where we talk about everything and anything that are dear and essential to moms and moms at heart. For those who are new to my channel, I am Mommy Lala. All right, so our topic this afternoon, this Monday afternoon, is something that affects all of us. The six-letter word that we would rather not live without, right? But then, oftentimes, it's really part and parcel of the life that we live in. And that six-letter word is stress. All right. So we would want to hear from you and engage with you about your views on this topic. Again, we want to keep the discussion though healthy and respectful. Okay, so yes, we would want to hear your point of view. So you can just simply ask your questions or put your comments on my Mommy Guide Inc. Facebook page or my personal page or on the comment section of Mommy Guide Inc.'s YouTube channel. This afternoon, it's a blessing to have with us Miss Pavla Borg of Pavla's World of Wellness, all the way from Malta. All right, so Pavla is a holistic health coach and breathwork facilitator with Hof Method. She is passionate about empowering people with sharing tips on prevention and healthy lifestyle, biohacking tips, recipes, meditation, and breath work in her World of Wellness group. We will talk about that later. We'll ask her about that further. She loves to guide people on their journey to well-being with special focus on mindset, mental resilience, and body optimization. She combines her health coaching knowledge with themes like self-love, self-worth, joy, creativity, energy, healing, resilience, courage, trust, freedom, beauty, release, gratitude, and so on. Her passion for breathwork and winter swimming stems from her personal experience of overcoming her own limitations. So her motto, nobody is coming to save you. Your life and health are your own responsibility. And so without further ado, let's all welcome Miss Pavla Borg of Pavla's Wellness on the show. Hi. Hello, Pavla. Good morning to you, right?
Good morning or good afternoon to you, Lala.
Yes, it's
Or
good
good evening,
afternoon.
wherever you are watching from. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, I also
Thank you for
so
having me on the show. I am
yes,
also Mama Pavla, by the way. My
yes.
friends call me Mama Pavla because I have this nurturing character. I always want to take care of people. So, yeah, Mama Lala meets Mama Pavla.
Exactly. What an awesome, awesome way. Okay, to actually finally, we were supposed to meet last week, but our schedules didn't really quite make it. So we're now finally, all right, here with all of you. And what an awesome topic to actually talk about because this is something that most of us, especially moms, struggle with because we have to juggle so many roles in life, right? But as you can see, like coming into the show, actually, I got stuck in traffic and I was coming in a little bit late. Pavla said, "It's okay, Lala. Don't be stressed." So the topic is really perfect. Oh no, she just taught me breathe. All right. So actually, it did help. I said, "Okay, yes, perfect. Don't be stressed. It's okay. The show is gonna push through." Indeed, we are actually on the show on time despite that traffic. So thank you, Pavla, for getting that stress out of my system prior to the show. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You
Yes.
can always do something. Yes, there is always that pause where you decide. Because
Mm-hmm.
we say life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. We can't
Exactly.
eliminate stress.
Exactly. So
Stress will always be present.
yeah, but
Yes, so you have to learn how to work with it.
yeah. So it's something
So
that I'm
sometimes
working
just to
on.
take that pause and take 3 breaths. That's all you need. Just pause. Yes,
Exactly.
and it can make all the difference.
Yeah. So she said, "Lala, 3 breaths out of 6." Okay, but I'm wearing a mask, Pablo. She said, "It's okay.
It's
That's
fine.
fine."
It's fine.
Even
Yes,
with a
it's
mask,
fine.
you can breathe.
You
Right.
can take still those breaths, and I will tell you later on how
Yes,
to you can switch. We'll go into it more, but
exactly.
I just want to point out now there is always that moment where you decide how you react, and that's where resilience come from. Because stress management is not about eliminating stress.
Mm-hmm.
We can't really. We don't have the power to eliminate all the stress. Stress will always happens. Life throws
Exactly.
us these curveballs we don't have control over, really. So it is
Exactly.
about learning how to react to
Yes.
the stress and work with stress. Also, stress has a very negative connotation, but not all stress is bad.
Oh,
You can
see?
actually use stress for your own well-being, for your own building your own resilience and becoming stronger. And don't forget, we pay good money for stress sometimes. I mean, we go bungee jumping, skydiving,
Oh, yeah,
horror
you're
movies.
right.
That's all
Exactly.
based on stress. We like that rush. But the difference is here, this is the acute stress. And actually, acute stress, when it's short term,
Mm-hmm.
it can increase your focus. Yes, make you more productive,
Mm-hmm.
make you more efficient, when you need it. What you need to learn is how to switch that off. And that's what many of us forgotten how to do, or we're just so habitually in that
Yes. It's like,
stressful state
yes,
that
stress is
we don't know
some,
how to, yeah.
yeah, it's
But we'll
always
talk
like
about that. There are ways
negative.
how to do it and simple, quite simple ways and available to all. You don't have to pay great money for it. You just have to know and, bring that awareness to it. So,
All right.
yeah.
So before we move on and actually deal with, we're just like a couple of minutes onto the show, and I've learned so much already. You know that stress is actually not something that always has to be negative, right? As Pavla said.
No,
So
in fact, there is a name for it. EU stress. Like it's like the positive stress.
positive
I
stress.
will also tell you how to do that, and it's
Okay.
it's very simple, and you can find it in your bathroom. How you use
Oh,
that kind of
that's
stress
cool. All
to
right.
to
So
get stronger and more resilient.
okay, so before we continue on and start, let's just say hi to some of the comments in the show. Sammy Pai says, "Good afternoon, Miss
Hi,
Pavla. Great to have you on the show today."
hi,
Yes, thank you.
Sammy. I'm so happy to be here.
All right, and Miss B, Reg B says, "Hello, Mami Lala and Miss Pavla, Pavla's World of Wellness." Yes, thank you so much. Please follow her on her Facebook. All right, and hello, Miss Lala and Miss Pavla from Ayin Dalinok. Oo. All right. And B says, Mama Pavla. Yes, she's Mama Pavla. She's a mom just like us po. All right. And finally, Scrap Stash. Good afternoon, Lala and Pavla. Good afternoon, Tracy. Okay. And finally, Miss B says, positives. Wow, positive stress. Yes, there is. So let's move forward, okay? So people nowadays, Pavla, are almost always in distress. Because of, our topic for today is from distress to de-stress, right? So, the causes for which are for health, career, and other issues. So, what are ways people can help manage the stresses of everyday living, especially nowadays that we're in, pandemic?
Yes, yes. Stress actually increased, yes, in the past year and a half. I mean, it's been unprecedented, and there are studies coming up. We know people are in even more stress than before. But stress, it's it's a normal response, really, to to any situation whenever you feel like under threat. And what is important also to note is that whether it is real, this threat, or just perceived, it is the same on the level of your body. Yes, in the body's intelligence, how it reacts to it. It doesn't matter if you just think you're under threat. That is very important difference, because if you are under your threat and your body kicks into the stress response, into the survival state, it's good. You need that energy. I will tell you later on what
Mm-hmm.
happens in the body. You need it to run away from that danger. But what if it's just perceived? Your body still reacts in the same way. So one
Oh.
of the just basic tips, there's this 10-step stress solution. Number one is always prioritize your health. Make your health your priority. You will never wish that you had worked more, you had stressed more. Your health is the most important, because if you're not healthy, you can't do all the things you love to do. or even take care of others. So you have to always fill your cup first. Like on the plane, you put your oxygen mask first to be able to take care of others. So self-care is healthcare. Secondly, sleep, of course. You had the lovely Christina here. She gave you all the tips how to get that. Sleep is extremely important. Breath work, one of my favorites because it's so powerful. Anybody can do it and it works quick and efficiently. Another thing is learn how to say no.
Oh.
It's very important. That goes with the first point. Yes, like we, especially moms. I mean, we moms, we just give. But you have to sometimes learn how to say no because you can burn out and then you can't give to anymore.
Yes.
And positive mindset, of course, is important. Hydration is extremely important. By the time you feel thirsty, you're already slightly dehydrated. So it's important to hydrate yourself throughout the day. Time management, we all know that. It can be learned. There are many hours in a week. It's how we allocate these hours. And another one is don't be slave to technology.
Yes.
Yes, because that's where a lot of stress comes from. In fact, I will tell you later on, but our stress is with us all the time because of the technology. We don't have anymore that break that we need. So it's good to switch it off, have a tech-free day.
Okay.
And lastly, I would like to say food, nutrition. I mean, gut health is so important for brain health. It can't be not said, So it's very important not to feed your emotion and eat health, especially when you're stressed. And yes, sometimes munching helps us to deal with stress. Instead of crisps, take a carrot, munch on a carrot.
All
You
right.
can always find a healthier option. It's not so much about elimination of unhealthy things, rather like crowding out. You replace. So you take, okay, instead of this, I take that. You go for the healthier option. Instead of a sweet, you take fruit. Some berries. They are very low sugar and they're very good for you, and they're just as delicious.
So you don't need to starve yourself. Just change, replace
No,
with
it's
something
all
healthy.
about crowding out. Yes.
Crowding
Sometimes
out.
when it's really bad, the craving, you don't have to say no to yourself. Just say not now and say first I'll take this. And believe me, after you satisfy yourself, maybe with the berries or some other way, you say I don't have the craving anymore. So you would have kind of tricked yourself.
I would want to have that. No more cravings.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So those are wonderful, wonderful tips, right? Now, what can continued unmanaged stress bring to people health-wise, Pavla? This continuous presence of stress in our life.
For that, to answer this question, it's very important to know what really happens in your body when you are under stress. Now, the part of your nervous system that handles the stuff that's not under your control, it's the autonomic nervous system. And this has two branches. And one of them is the sympathetic, and the other one is the parasympathetic nervous system. And it is the sympathetic nervous state that kicks in the stress response, this fight or flight. Yes, we hear it often. And what does that mean? It means, this is for millennia. Our bodies are still evolutionary, those of hunters and gatherers that lived in the caves. We haven't really changed evolutionary. Our lifestyle changed, yes, but you can think it's only the last 100, maybe thousands years. I would say actually maybe some decades, because these past decades seen huge changes in our lifestyle that was never there before. Our bodies are not conditioned to live in our current environment, on our lifestyles nowadays. Our body is still of the hunter-gatherer that lived in the cave. When it went outside of the cave, it activated this sympathetic nervous state, this fight and flight. It is about reaching goals, getting food, hunting, fighting, making sure your family is safe. Yes, it's that activation. And then when you go inside the cave, you switch that off. And it was like this black and white operation, yes? You'll be able to be in what we call flow state. You can flow from one state to the other. And this is very important because it is in the parasympathetic, in the inside of the cave state, where regeneration happens. growth happens, immunity works well, where you, in fact, it's called the rest and digest. Reproduction happens. Yes, like you need to be in this calm state to be able to have your body function. Your digestion, you don't digest well when you are in the sympathetic. Why? Because when you're running away from a tiger or hunting, digestion is not important. You actually divert your blood flow away from these long-term projects in your body, like building tissue, digestion, reproduction, into those that are short-term. Now we need to run. So what do we need? We need energy. So the body releases glucose in your bloodstream. At the same time, it blocks insulin, so it doesn't pick the sugar, it stays there.
Correct.
Which is good when you need it. When you need energy, you need sugar, you need oxygen, so your breathing gets faster. Yes, your heart starts pumping faster, your heart rate increases. Why? Because you need to deliver this oxygen and this sugar to your limbs to be able to run, to the thigh muscles. You need this energy, and it is brilliant. It is an incredibly intelligent system when you need it. If you are 30 seconds in this sympathetic nervous state, you can save your life. However, if you are there for good, like what most of us are, we are in this chronic state, we don't ever switch off this sympathetic state.
Yes, so that's
It means you have elevated blood sugar, danger of diabetes, overweight, lots of other metabolic issues. You have problems with the heart. Your heart is like a mechanical pump. And the same, if you keep wearing it, eventually it will break down.
So this is
You
the
know?
part where you say that we need to learn how to turn it off.
We
When
need
to
to learn
switch
how
it
to turn it off. It's crucial. The problem is it's very easy to say, don't stress, meditate. If I am so tensed up, I can't just switch like this. It is very difficult. A lot of us lost nowadays this ability because we're always running after things, and also because our outside of the cave was brought inside of our cave. It's inside our living room. It's outside of the cave. The news, yes, the media, all these different stressors. So we are really never inside of a cave. That's why there is a lot of these problems with infertility as well. Digestive issues, they say stress or digest. It's either or.
Yes, yes.
Like people focus so much on what they eat, what they put in their body. Yes, it's all very good. But if your body is not ready to take all the nutrients in, you might be eating perfectly. Who knows, people that eat really well, and yet they're not getting better. In fact, I would suggest right now, I say it now here before we forget, before every meal, take 3 deep breaths and prolong the exhale. Just take this moment and just try to switch from that stressful state. Don't eat on the run. Don't eat watching
TV.
media news. Don't
it's true.
focus. It's very important.
Yes, very stressful. All right, or like exciting movies, like suspense movies while eating, right? Stuff like that, right?
I mean, your body is very clever. I love my body. I admire it. It's so intelligent. We just have to learn how to work with our body. This is an adaptive system. It's extremely intelligent for what it's supposed to do, but we have to get out of the way sometimes because we don't let it ever to heal and digest. If you want to heal and digest, reproduce, you need to switch off that fight and flight state, because that happens when your parasympathetic system is activated.
Yes, so
and one of the best ways is through breathwork. Yes, of course, because it's
yes,
quick.
you,
But
you mentioned about breath work, right? So, like, how can breathing or proper breathing techniques like help one manage stress and bring better health?
well, the thing is, think about this. When you are stressed, the first thing that changes that you notice is your breathing. Yes, if people in panic or in anxiety, shallow breathing, over breathing, yes, or when you experience relief, you have a sigh of relief, yes. When you want to relax, just take deep, calm breaths. You can feel it, and this is because this autonomic nervous system that I was talking about, that controls all these things on its own without your own control, like your heart rate, your digestion, your reproduction, your blood pressure. All these things, you don't have to think about them, they happen. And one of them is also breathing. You don't have to think about it, which is great, because imagine you would have to always think of that you have to breathe. You don't have to think about it, you breathe automatically. But the difference here is that breathwork is one of the functions that you can also consciously control. You can't say, now I'm going to digest my food. Now I want my heart to breathe a bit faster. No, you can't do that. But with breath, you can. So it is like a portal. It is like a hack in which way you can actually control what works on its own usually. And why would you do that? Why would you try to control something which works so well on its own? Because it has so many benefits for you. Because just like your mind or body state affects your breathing, the way you breathe, it's two-way traffic. The way you breathe will affect your autonomic nervous system, which branch you're using, whether it's the sympathetic or the parasympathetic.
So
It's like a portal, literally, and that's why it works so fast and so efficiently.
all right. So we actually take for granted, breathing, right? It's like, oh, I'm breathing. Otherwise, I'm dead. But no, there's actually a certain way that it can actually improve one's health. All right, and take care or manage this excessive stress, as Pavla has said. All right, so let's check some of the questions. They are saying my audio is far. Can you hear me clearly, Pavla? Or am
I
I a
can hear
little
you
bit?
very well, yes.
Okay. I think maybe the audience somehow. Okay, my voice is already loud. Anyway, let's see. How about this, ladies? Can you hear me now? Okay. Anyway, let's Miss B is asking, how do we breath work? Do we count Okay, so later, Pavlo is gonna talk about that in a little bit of a detail. Now, I think Pavlo would want to talk about this one, as she prepared several slides for us. All right, to help us further, understand this stress, okay, and how to actually manage it. All right. So it starts with
Yes.
happiness is an inside job. What does that mean,
Yes,
Pavla?
yes, you have to. It is really about taking control of your inner state. Yes, like I was saying at the beginning, you always have. Maybe we were talking about it before we went live. You always have that space of time that where you can make a pause, where you can decide how you're gonna respond, and breath can help you here. Breathwork can help you to take hold of that panic state. I mean, what do they tell you? I remember when I was giving labor, I used breath work to help me with the pain as a natural pain management. What do they tell you for anxiety, panic attack? They tell you use your breath because it's so powerful, and you can actually assess whether stress is affecting your breathing. So, like if I ask you, do you ever suffer from
Anxiety.
shortness of breath or breathlessness?
Uh-huh. Yes, yes, I
Or
do.
do you get out of breath when you're climbing the stairs?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you suffer of brain fog or fuzzy mind.
Mm-hmm.
And when you breathe, when you take some breaths, do you breathe into your chest or into your belly?
Okay, so I
You
think
know,
that's
all these
that's
things
one of their
are.
questions. Like, how do you actually breathe, and then do you actually count? That was like one of their questions. Do we?
Yes, so there are two different ways now to answer this. There is one way how to breathe normally throughout the day. That's one answer. And the another one is breath work. Yes, these are two different answers. One, the breath work makes you breathe better throughout the day, makes you uh, more efficient in using oxygen, more tolerant to CO2. It's like the training part. I will give you a couple of examples and tips.
Mm-hmm.
But during the day, that's different. So you wouldn't do like different breathing techniques. During the day, focus on nose breathing. You should always use your nose for breathing. So many people are mouth breathing, and there are so many issues connected to mouth breathing. Don't
Oh.
forget, mouth is for eating. Whatever you breathe in through the mouth, it goes straight in. There is no filter, no filtration happening. The nose is the organ for breathing. And actually, what you see is only like the tip of the iceberg. It's like the 30% of the whole organ for breathing. The nasal cavity, it's quite large proportionately in the brain. And like I always say, nature is not foolish. It doesn't waste space. If it takes that much space, it's there for a reason. And that is because the nose has so many different functions that people don't realize. It's actually a filter. I mean, every day, apparently we take like 20 billions of foreign particles in. Now you want to pass them through a filter, ideally.
Exactly.
Yes, and the nose acts as a filter. It also acts as a conditioner. It conditions the air. So regardless the temperature that you breathe in, the nose will actually change the temperature.
But Pavla, how
So
do I know if like I'm doing mouth breathing or nose breathing? Would I be?
I mean, you have to place the awareness there. You have to try. During the day, it's easy because you close your mouth and you try. Every time you catch yourself breathing, you try to remind yourself to breathe through the nose.
All
Now,
right.
at night, it's an issue. At night, it's unconscious. There are a lot of tricks that biohackers use. You know, nowadays you can even buy these like tapes that you can just put like a tiny strip of tape across your lips.
So they don't open
It's
up.
not to block them because that could bring anxiety. It's
Uh-huh.
just sort of like a reminder for the mouth to stay closed. And you can train yourself eventually. It takes time, it's a process. You have to train yourself to for the body to focus more on the nose breathing. But it's you have to bring your consciousness to it. If you're always mouth breathing, or even children, remind them, you see them mouth breathing, remind them, breathe through your nose. Because apart from it being filthy, air conditioner, it's also important, very much, especially now for the, I mean always, but especially now because of all this virus around for the production
Yes.
of nitric oxide. You know, the magic molecule, I think it was 1992, it was called the magic molecule because it's so important for your health. It's antiviral and antifungal, and it actually gets produced in the nasal cavity. So it doesn't happen when you breathe through your mouth, but when you breathe through your nose,
Oh.
you increase the production of nitric oxide. You can also get this through food, also, you know, and like beetroot,
Mm-hmm.
and also humming is great.
Oh,
On the
really? Humming?
exhale,
Yeah.
and
Filipinos
actually
love
they
to
say
hum.
that there is a study that actually says that you produce 7 times as much nitric oxide when you hum. So when you inhale through your nose and you exhale, just hum. Even when you do your dishes or something, you can do toning, humming. I know it seems so simple, doesn't it? And it's available to
Exactly.
everyone.
Yeah, but
And it's just the awareness, really. And children would love it. If you just tell children, you know,
yeah.
they would love it, but we don't tell them, and then they grow up and
I
then
never
become
looked at
like us.
at humming that way, as actually an exercise to actually improve one's breathing through the nose, right? That's really I'm learning so much from your talk today, Pavla. All right, so
Thank
let's
you. I mean, I think of Siberian that there were actually studies even relating to COVID now because of its antiviral properties, you know. And don't forget Viagra, based on nitric oxide, yes. So
oh,
it's a vasodilator as well, you know. It's very important. It's truly the magic molecule. So, and you produce it when you breathe through your nose. So that's one thing, breathe through your nose. Then also, uh, don't do a lot of people nowadays, they breathe, we call it paradoxical breathing, they breathe into their chest, not into their belly. And you know,
yes.
your lungs, they extend down here, and actually you have a muscle here that separates your thoracic cavity where the lungs are from
Uh-huh.
your abdominal cavity, you know, where the
The
stomach, the
belly, yeah.
intestines,
Uh-huh.
liver, other organs are.
Uh-huh.
And probably this is the least or most underused muscle in your body. And that's not a good idea because it's there for a reason. And it's like a parachute.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, you should always try, your posture is very important.
Oh
You
no.
want to have a spine erect because you want the diaphragm to work like this. You don't want it to work like this or like this. And when it works like this, your whole belly, even from the back, you can even see if you can breathe to your hands. This is just practices, just to improve. But you want to breathe like to the bottom part of your lungs. And when you do that, when you take a deep inhale and you focus on we call it belly, but you're not breathing with the belly. The belly comes out because the diaphragm
Goes down.
presses down when you inhale. And then when you exhale, it relaxes diaphragm and it comes up again. And diaphragm is very important because it increases blood flow. It massages your organs. What does it mean? When you massage your organs, you increase the blood flow, you increase the nutrients going there. Whenever there is more blood flow, it's healthier. Yes?
Exactly.
Also, it's great for detoxification because you have this lymphatic vessels there, and lymphatic system, the detoxification system of the body doesn't have a pump. It doesn't have heart. You need to move the lymph. You need to move the toxins. And the diaphragm is one of the best ways to do this. So deep breathing and diaphragmatic breathing into your belly is so powerful for this reason.
Wow, I've
So
never thought
if
of
you see
breathing
children,
that way, right?
if you see children, they breathe into their belly nicely. Babies, watch them. Their bellies go up and down
Yeah,
like
you're right.
animals. Watch your pets.
Yes, that's how they breathe.
It's
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's how they breathe. This is natural. But then we start eventually, we start observing maybe age 7, 8, we start sucking in our belly because we want to have this real,
Yeah.
and we start creating this tension and we start breathing into our upper chest.
So the proper way is that our belly, when we breathe in, has to
Relaxed belly.
bulge.
Yes, you want to have a relaxed belly and you want to breathe deep. You want to breathe into the bottom part of the lungs. Use the volume of the lungs. There was this, I think, 30-year study, the Framingham study, that found that the capacity of the lung that we use, it's one of the best predictors of longevity. So you can think of your body as a container. Yes. So when you breathe in, try to fill the oxygen, pour the oxygen to the bottom first and fill it up. Don't do this shallow chest breathing. That's not good for you.
Exactly.
And then if you want to have a really simple tip, just like you feel stressed out and you want to relax, focus on long exhale.
Exhale.
When you prolong the exhale,
So it's not just one breath out. No, not like that.
that's why I told you 3 to 6. Basically, we call it 1-2 breathing. So it means like if you breathe on the count of 2, you exhale on the count of 4. Or you breathe in on the count of 3, you exhale on the count of 6. The 1-2 ratio. Very, very, very simple. You don't have to remember anything. It's the quickest way because it's when you exhale, you actually switching on the parasympathetic state. And also we know that the nose is linked to the parasympathetic and the mouth to the sympathetic nervous state, the stressful one. That's another reason why you should breathe through your nose.
Wow.
It's different when you do breathwork techniques. Yes, you will see a lot of breathwork technique, they breathe through their mouth, but it would be for a short period of time. And it would be for a reason, like with the Wim Hof method. There is a reason for that.
That's a more advanced of breathing technique, right? So what we're doing
yes,
right now,
that's why I don't want to mix breathing techniques and everyday breathing.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is just the everyday breathing that's actually, even as it is, very helpful for good health, right? So let's go now to your slide. Okay, so what about the slide that you have prepared for us for this afternoon?
So this is I mentioned the happiness is an inside job. This is just a quick overview from my wellness page because I really take a holistic approach. I believe whether it is wellness or stress management, like I said, everything affects it. The gut health, the food, the exercise is very important. I love doing meditation. I do weekly meditation live for the group that stays recorded. And also sleep. You can see a little bit of bed down here with the flowers and affirmations, anything.
So it's
now what is this? This is a window, right?
Yes.
And this I put here because of the window of tolerance. Window of tolerance is where we are when we can deal with stress. We are capable to take different stressors and have a response without being overwhelmed. Yes, we can deal with it because we're always going from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic. We're always going through the activation and then relaxation. But everybody has this window of tolerance different width. And the narrower it is, the easier for you it is to overreact. And the harder it is for you really to cope with stress.
Oh.
So what we want and people who suffer like they had some trauma maybe in childhood or any stressful event, it actually shrinks this window of tolerance. So you become overreactive, yes, and you might be you might find it much harder to cope. And there are techniques, ways how you can increase this window of tolerance, where you can cope better with stress, which is really what brings resilience, yes?
Yes.
And of course, one of my favorites is breath work, like I was saying already, and I will give you a couple of examples. We will do a couple together, actually, where you can switch on the parasympathetic and relax. Another one of my favorites is meditation, especially the grounding technique. Whenever you feel anxiety or stress coming up, you can try this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique, which is basically just first you always sit in a relaxed position, maybe you take a couple of calm breaths, and then you see if you can name 5 things that you can see. Then 4 things that you can feel, maybe with your feet or your hands. Then 3 things that you can hear. I can hear birds singing here.
Okay.
Maybe even your heartbeat sometimes when we're stressed, we can hear our heartbeat almost.
Yes.
2 things that we can smell. And then 1 thing that's something good about yourself, something.
Oh, that's so cool.
And this is like a distraction. Like, when babies cry, what do? I remember the best trick for my kids, if they were babies and they were crying, is to distract them with something.
Right.
Yes, put their attention somewhere else. And that's how this grounding technique actually works. It can distract you from,
What's causing the
some...
stress, right?
Exactly.
By focusing on something else.
On something else and just grounding yourself. And then you might find it easier to cope with whatever that stressor is. Many different meditations techniques or mindfulness techniques that you can. Gratitude practice is great. Then, like I mentioned already, humming or chanting, it's also great because all these things that I'm mentioning here, they are activating the vagus nerve. If you haven't heard of the vagus nerve, it is the largest nerve of the parasympathetic. It's the 10th cranial nerve, and it activates this rest and digest, this healing state of your body. And these are all the things that actually activate this and tone it, this vagus nerve. Another one is singing.
Wow, singing.
Yes, singing. That can increase the window of tolerance. Laughing. You might have heard of laughing yoga. It can it's good for you. Yes. I mean, these are all obvious things, but you would be surprised how few people do the obvious things.
Exactly.
And one of my favorites, of course, I had to put it here, is cold therapy. Yeah, cold therapy is brilliant and it's nothing new. I mean, Vincent van Gogh was prescribed 2 cold baths a day when he was in asylum, for depression. So cold exposure is an extremely powerful technique that can teach you resilience. It's great for your immunity. It's great for so many different things. I could do a call just on that. So, and all these,
you do
activate the
right?
vagus nerve. And if you don't have to go in a freezer. I have a freezer here because I live in Malta. And in Malta for 6 months of the year, you can't even get a cold shower. So for me to get cold exposure, I have actually had to go the extreme way and get a freezer. And I just want to tell you, for me, even getting cold showers was really difficult. I was the worst person to deal with cold. I was really cold intolerant, and the first time I came out of sorry?
Me too. I'm the same. I can't handle cold.
No, I was really bad, and I live in Malta. I imagine people here move for the weather, but I was dying, and I missed my center heating, and I was like, I can't take it anymore. And then I somehow Already in my health coaching course, I knew about the vagus nerve, about the cold exposure, but I'm like, nah, that's not for me. Even though one way you can activate it, which is easy, is using the dive reflex and just put cold water on your face, or maybe a couple of ice cubes, run them on your face or neck. That's already enough for activating the vagus nerve. The way we use cold exposure in the Wim Hof method, we go a step further. We use it for resilience, for exactly for learning how to cope with stress, because ice bath is extremely stressful. So, but it's not about the ice bath. It's about how you react to the ice bath. And ultimately, it's not even how you react in the ice bath. It's how you react to any stress. So if you train yourself to smile, like I'm smiling here holding ice in an ice bath, this will have a ripple effect on any other stress in your life.
So that's
Because
why
you
you
will
said
learn.
window of tolerance. So all these things
Yes,
help
exactly.
improve, make your window of tolerance bigger or
Larger.
larger. Yes.
Exactly, yes. Because if you keep shrinking it will be so much easier to be catapulted out of it or pushed out of the window.
Yeah.
Yes, so, but it takes practice, of course. So, uh, the cold exposure, I'm not gonna go much into it, but you can even start just with cold shower, just that's more than enough. I don't know in Philippines if you can have cold showers now, if it's like Malta.
Yeah, we have, but I can't take cold shower. But I will try now that you've told me that.
You have
I
to
always
you
have
have
to
to
take
start slowly.
hot shower, even during the summer. Maybe right now, yes, because it's extremely hot. I can do cold shower, but otherwise the rest of the year I cannot. So I really have to have like a hot shower. But as you said, now that you talk about it, so maybe I could train myself. I love swimming, right? But the thing is, when it's a rainy season and the water is so cold, I can't because like I can't even dip my feet into the pool because it's so cold. But now that you're talking about like how it can actually improve our window of tolerance, so that's something that I have gotten into thinking that I should try to do more exposure to cold in that sense, right?
It's brilliant. And you can swim all year round. Like I started in Malta. I used to
Yes.
struggle in summer. Like in the evening in summer, I won't go in the sea, even though it's like 26 degrees Celsius. And I'm like, now I go in the pool even when it's 8 degrees. I swim all year round.
Wow.
And I enjoy it so much more because you get such a high after. It's also great for lowering inflammation. What do athletes do after matches? It's very common nowadays. They go into these plunge pools because it lowers inflammation. And it's also, we have studies that show your immunity increases, your white blood cells, these soldiers of your immunity system increase.
Mm-hmm.
And this lasts for days after a cold exposure. And apart from that, it's also great training for your cardiovascular system. What is the number one killer nowadays? Cardiovascular disease. And what happens, your body reacts to the cold. Yes, the blood vessels constrict, then with the heat they dilate, with the cold they constrict. So you're actually giving them a workout. So then the heart doesn't have to work so hard because you have muscles in your blood vessels, in the walls you have muscles, tiny muscle cells. So you practice them so they become more flexible, yes? So
Yes,
then the
yes.
heart doesn't have to push so hard, doesn't have to work so hard. So it has so many benefits. I never regretted it doing it, but I hated it at the beginning. And I started really slowly. So I say if I can do it, anybody can do it. Because I started like with 15 seconds, cold showers, but literally you can start small. But nobody ever regrets when they manage to, because it feels so good. It feels so good.
Yes, I will try to actually intentionally train myself to do that. All right. So after this window of tolerance and try to improve that window of tolerance. Okay, so this one.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite quotes. Going back to the breath work, yes, breath is the bridge which connects life to consciousness, which unites your body to your thoughts. It is this portal also to your mental state, to your physical state. You can, like I said, it's a two-way traffic. You can influence how you feel by breathing. And I would like to share with you a couple of techniques, maybe 3 techniques that you can use that are easy for complete beginners. And this one, it's called the box breathing. And box breathing, actually, it's a great technique when you want to calm yourself, but at the same time, you want to remain focused. You want to, maybe you still have a lot of work to do. You don't want to put yourself sleep.
Yes.
Yes, you still want to be active and focused, but calm yourself down. And this one has been popularized by the Navy SEALs. You know, Navy SEALs of the U.S. Army, they are under enormous stress, and this is what they use actually to calm themselves down, but yet remain alert.
All right.
And it goes all the way to the samurai, this technique. And it's very simple. It's called box breathing because you use visualization. And like with this 4-part breath, it's like you're drawing a box. Yes, box has 4 sides. You're all
Okay.
creative in Mamilala group. So, so you can just imagine that you're drawing a box. So let's
Okay.
try this. You can just
All
sit,
right.
make sure you sit nicely upright.
Okay. All right.
And then exhale what you have. And then
Okay.
inhale through your nose, counting on the count of 4. So in, 2, 3, 4. Then hold, 2, 3, 4. Then exhale, 2, 3, 4. And hold, 2, 3, 4. So you basically drawing a side of the box with the inhale, then you hold it on top, then exhale and hold it on the bottom. Now this is, you can either, if it's too long for, you can either count faster, or you can even change the ratio as long as it's the same. So you can do count
2,
of 3,
2.
3, 3, 3.
All right.
Or eventually, if you practice this, you'll be able to extend your breath holds.
Okay.
And so you can do 5, 5, 5, 5.
Yeah. So that's why it's called a box, right? Because it's
That's why it's called a box. It's
in a
like you
square.
draw.
Yeah. Sides are all the same number, right? If it's the same, it's 2. All sides will be 2, right? Cool. This is
Exactly.
Square, right? A square, a box square. All right.
Like a square, exactly. And this, you can repeat it a couple of times, and this can be done really quickly. We always focus on, when you are talking about stress management, you want to think of what is your minimum effective dose. What is the minimum that gives you the maximum impact? So it's, sometimes people have this all or nothing attitude. So they say, oh, I don't have time to meditate for 20 minutes, so I won't do it at all. And just try what you can do, even if it's just 3 breaths, even if it's just 2 boxes, even if it's just 5 minutes of sitting with your thoughts, you will see that it will have an effect. So don't think of all or nothing.
Wow.
Every little bit counts. And this one is very simple. You can just imagine this box and just do it.
So, Pavla,
Another
it
one.
says repeat 4 times. Is like
Yes,
4
you can
times
do this
continuous, or
for-
like 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening, something like that?
No, I would do it 4 in a row.
4 in a row. All
4
right.
in a row. I mean, it's not much. It will hardly take you a minute, depending, of course, how fast you count. But you can do it like 4 times. There is no strict rule. It has to be 4 times. Yes, you can even do it. You can do it for longer. But by taking control of your breath,
Okay.
and especially with the breath holds, you can really change how you feel. Another technique that's very popular, it was popularized by Dr. Andrew Weil. You can even find him guiding it on YouTube. It's the 478 technique. And he actually called it a natural tranquilizer for the nervous system. He said it works fantastic for anxiety. And here you inhale with the nose, but you exhale through the mouth. So what
Alright.
actually, this comes from pranayama. And what happens is you want to put tongue behind your upper teeth on top, and then you exhale like through the tongue. So
Okay.
you slow down the exhale kind of. If you don't like it with the tongue, you can just maybe purse your lips to slow down the exhale, because the ratio here is 4-7-8. So it's different from the box breathing.
Four, seven,
Here,
eight.
what you do, you inhale on the count of 4, then you hold on the count of 7, and then you exhale slowly on the count of 8. Again, if this seems long for you to hold, you can count faster. Yes, to make
Okay.
it comfortable. It's the ratio that is good, and this is great. I use it like, imagine you wake up in the middle of the night, and
Yes.
you want to go back to sleep. This is a great technique to try, because unlike the box breathing, it doesn't really activate you. It more relaxes you. So it can actually help you go back to sleep. I used it with my children when they couldn't sleep. My son, for a while, he couldn't fall asleep. So I taught him this technique. It's very simple. It's not difficult. And if you want to try it, we can try it. You can just maybe place the tongue on the
Okay. Let's
upper
try.
mouth. Okay,
Okay.
let's try it. And when you inhale, imagine like you have a balloon in your belly, and you can close your eyes. It might help you. So you inhale through your nose on the count of 4, then you will hold on 7 and exhale on 8. I will count for you,
All right.
okay? So first exhale, then in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and exhale through your mouth, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have to distribute the air carefully on
Oh,
the
not
exhale, yes?
everything on
So
this.
you don't run out of the air, not just, that's why you have the tongue. So
Slowly.
you slow down the exhale, and the longer exhale, like I told you at the beginning, if you focus, just if you don't remember anything from today, just remember, if you prolong the exhale, you are already activating the parasympathetic state. So try it, and this you would like to repeat like 4 times, not more than 4 times, anytime you need it. Like you get stressed out, your child throws a tantrum, or you are caught in traffic, or
Yes. So
like I said, you can use this before you
so this is
sleep.
so for me. This is so for Mommy Lala. Right? I have to
Yes.
do this. I'll practice this, Pavla. All right. Okay, so
4-7-8 technique, yes.
yes, four,
And then
seven,
the
eight.
last one I would like to definitely share. This is also from pranayama, but this is amazing, the alternate nostril breathing, because it balances your brain. It balances, we have the left and the right hemisphere. One is more the rational, logical brain, one is more the creative brain. And the alternate nostril breathing actually is a ancient brain balancing technique. And it is designed to produce optimum function in these two sides of the brain, because you use one nostril at a time. We don't use our nostrils equally. If you want to see, you can put a finger under your nose, and when you exhale a bit forcefully, you can feel that it's not balanced.
I never
So this
realized that.
alternate,
I thought it's like
yeah.
normal that both will have the same. No, it's not.
No, you won't, most probably, unless you've been training already. It's
Okay.
also great for the vagus nerve, this, and like even the others. And all you have to do is, I like to rest my 2 fingers here. You don't have to. You can just use your thumb and your ring finger to close either nostril, and just do it like this. I do like to rest my fingers. I find it more relaxing.
But we
And
can start with the
basically,
nose, like this, like what
yes.
I'm doing. Okay.
So you can close your right nostril using the back of your left thumb. And what you do is you inhale only from your left nostril.
Oh,
You
okay.
inhale, then you close the left nostril and let go of the right. And then you exhale from your right nostril. You can also hold it at the top for a bit. So you can do inhale from the left, hold a bit, count to 3 perhaps, and then exhale from the right. And then you again inhale from the right, close, hold for 1, 2, 3, and exhale from the left. And that is one round. So you go in one side, hold, out the other nostril. Then in the same nostril, hold, and out the left nostril. And that's one round. And you can repeat this couple of
Nice.
times, maybe 5 to 10 rounds, and see how you feel. It's a great technique, and if you do yoga, you're familiar with it 100%. It's very popular. It's great for reducing your heart rate or breathing rate. There are actually studies that found it effective, but it will take, of course, few weeks of practice. These are gentle techniques, yes.
All right.
So be patient with yourself.
So it's not something that we immediately feel that I feel better. Maybe
I
sometimes you
mean, you
can,
will
yeah,
feel immediately relaxed. I
immediately
believe
better.
so.
Okay. But for it to get
But
easier, like you do it like easier for you to do it, it takes a little bit of a practice.
yes, you have to be patient with yourself, of course, because if it's completely new for you, you know, you might find even breathing through the nose if you were a heavy mouth breather, you know, you want to, it will take time to increase the flow through the nose, yes.
Yes,
So
yes.
there are even ways how you can clean your nasal passages so it's easier to breathe through the nose. But be patient with yourself, practice, but it should
Yeah.
help you to relax for sure.
All right. So those are the three. This all of these three breathing techniques that you taught us today. So the box one, and then the
Yeah, the
alternate
478.
nostril. Yes. They all have the same purpose, right? And that's to help distress, right, and remove
Yes, they
that.
help you distress. Whilst the box breathing keeps you more focused and alert, the alternate nostril breathing or the 478, they are even more relaxing. Or if you just want to do something simple, like I said, you can just do 1-2 ratio breathing. The inhale on, for example, 2, exhale on 4, or inhale on count of 4, exhale on 8. That's the simplest if you just want to relax, you want to focus on the exhale.
All
Yes?
right.
And using the diaphragm, you want to breathe into your belly. Yes,
Oh,
like the babies. Think of your babies before we learned how to suck our belly in and use just the upper part of our lungs. Use the full lung. Like you saw that picture of the lung all in blossom, in bloom. You want to
yes.
think of that.
All
Yes, you want to
right.
have them all
Okay.
all in bloom. There are many other techniques that you can do. Like I'm a big fan of the Wim Hof technique, but it is a
Yes.
bit more complex, and there are some contraindications. It's like a training. It's like this circuit training for
For
your
breathing, for
nervous system,
service
really, and
system.
for your breathing. So
Yeah, I've actually
it's not
attended
just
it.
calming.
Yes, I was able to attend it once already, and it was I didn't even know that it was already an hour and a half, because it was so relaxing. Pavla guided us again. It's not something that we can do, in the show, because there's a preparation for it. So as Pavla said, it's a training. So, but then if you want to know more of this, Pavla, I just want to show them. All right. So Pavla's Facebook is called Pavla's World of Wellness. So if you want to know more about, how this afternoon we just it's like just an overview of what Pavla can do or can help you as a coach, as a health and wellness coach, towards that wellness, right? So on Facebook, she's Pavla's World of Wellness, and also another Facebook page of hers where she's actually a Wim Hof method instructor. That's for breath work. All right. So if you want to know more about that, you can go and visit her Facebook page. She is also on LinkedIn as Pavla Borg, and her webpage. Okay. So winhofmethod.com/instructors/ Pavla Borg. All right, she's a certified instructor. So again, Pavla, okay, so in Pavla's world, so of wellness, so what happens, or what do we do in Pavla's world of wellness? Every day, almost every day, Pavla posts something there in terms of, not just breathing, not just exercise. It's a whole thing, like what she sent and mentioned in her slides a while ago, right? So there's about food, there's about exercise, there's about mental health and all of these things. So maybe you can invite them, Pavla, to go visit your Pavla's World of Wellness.
I focus a lot on mental health actually because I feel it's so important, and a lot of people struggle with it, and a lot of people are shy to ask for help. We're not shy to go to a doctor with a heart problem or a broken leg, but yet when we need help with our mental health, for some reason, there is still the stigma around it. So I do love to post always some positive quotes or reminders how to
Yes.
take care of ourselves for our mental health. Also, I do like to encourage people for a holistic lifestyle. Wellness, like I said, comes in many different ways. It's not just the food, like nutrition is, I'm an integrative nutrition health coach. I love nutrition, it's important, but it's just one part. Many
Yes.
times what you actually eat, what you put on your plate is determined by all the other things in your life, by how stressed you are, by how healthy your relationships are, how your children are, around you. So many other things determine really that. So you have to tackle health holistically. In fact, we call it the primary foods, like all this, like I mentioned, is what determines the secondary food, the food that you actually eat. But I do like to always post a healthy recipe. Every week I post some recipe. I have the group quite organized, so I always have guides where I like to put it. So if people just want to see some recipes, they can go into the guide and they find all these healthy recipes. I do mainly recipes that are vegetarian and gluten-free or sugar-free because I feel those are more to be encouraged,
Yes.
for your health and
Correct.
well-being and the planet. Not as a doctrine, but sometimes people struggle with that, how to
So
make a healthy
how do
meal
they
without all these.
actually join Pavla? Just go to your Pavla's
They can
page.
just find my group, yes, and ask to join and answer the questions that I ask, because I ask her what you're most interested in, and they can, yes. And also every Monday, like even today, I will be doing the live meditation that then goes in the guide as well, so they can
Yes.
either join live. It's a very short meditation.
Yes.
I like to do these things that don't take too long. Then if you want a long, luxurious session, then you can join one of my events that I do on Zoom. I usually do them weekly, but the next one will be on 13 June because I have a workshop next week. And these are online, and I guide you through the breath work. And there I put a lot of affirmations. We also do meditation. We do the Wim Hof method breathing. I could do a session with you if there is interest
Exactly. So if
next
they
next
want to
time. Yeah.
invite you over, so you just need to go to Pavla's pages or social media handles that we've posted a while ago. Or you can watch this on replay. Just message her. She's very accommodating. She's such a a beautiful person inside and out, right? She's so
Thank you. How sweet.
positive, really. All right, let's read some of the comments, Pavla. Okay, didn't realize Sam said, oops, okay, didn't realize how important breath work actually is. Yes, it's something also that, prior to meeting with Pavla, it's like something like, yeah, everybody breathes. I thought, there's
We
nothing
take it
to
for
it.
granted. It's
Exactly,
true.
right?
I mean, oxygen is the most important nutrient in your body, but it is not about breathing more. That's the thing people sometimes mistake. It's not about breathing more and over breathing. You actually want to do breath work to become more efficient in using your oxygen. Like there is this talk about this carbon dioxide as if it was something toxic. Everything in high quantities is toxic. Even water. If you drink too much water, it becomes toxic. But CO2 is important. It's also important. So you want to build tolerance to CO2, to the carbon dioxide. And this you can do through different breathwork techniques, which one of my favorites is the is the Wim Hof method, because it's very powerful, but it's not something that you do really quickly. Even though you can find, if you go on the website, wimhofmethod.com, you can find a lot of information. It's scientifically based, the technique. There is a lot of science going on, a lot of research going on. And actually, at the moment, there is a research at the University of San Francisco. They're studying it exactly for stress and emotional regulation.
Wow.
In fact, they call it the wellness and transformation technique, because it's very quick. Because within 10 minutes of the breath work, you can change the biochemistry of your body. It's incredible. And we have science to show that.
And
I also wanted to say in my group,
Yes, Pavla.
I also wanted to say that in my group, I do challenges. So if you do join, you'll be able to do challenges. I'm going to announce mine today for June, but this one will be easy in a way. We're going to do
not the planking or the push-up. It's a different challenge.
I did a month push-up challenge. I did a 1 month planking challenge. We were planking, and we actually built up planking to quite a few minutes. We did a cold shower challenge. In fact, that was the picture from my freezer. I went every day in the freezer to encourage people to go in the shower. And now we're gonna do something different. We're gonna focus on for the positive mindset. So we're gonna do a positivity challenge. So it will be easier on the body, but it's very powerful.
It's very powerful. That's nice. All right. And then Sammy, okay, so for those who would want, okay, all you need to do is just go to Pavla's World of Wellness, all right, on Facebook, and then ask to join. You just need to answer several questions, all right? But I'm also a part of Pavla's group, okay? And I've really been, they know that Mommy Lala has a lot of, a lot of things that I'm not, physically I'm not very healthy. Okay, so that's why when I met Pavla, it was amazing, how she shared to me how she used to be also a lot of health issues, but now, she's very strong and healthy because of, all of these things that, and now she's a coach, and now she's helping me and others to actually live a more healthy life. All right, Sammy says, amen to salt lamps. Hey. All right. Yes. All right, Pavla, sorry. Yes, you wanted to say something.
No, I think I was quite lucky, because since I was little, I was a herb picker. I used to love picking herbs. I grew up in South Bohemia. So I was always geared towards the natural. But what really changed my career path or trajectory was when my sister and my little niece, they became very sick. So that's when I really went into it, and I realized there is so much we can do preventatively. I'm all about prevention. I'm a very bad patient. In fact, I'm not used to being sick. So I will do anything for not getting to that point. So I'm all about preventative help and taking, it's always easier, isn't it?
Yes.
It's always easier, but still you can do a lot.
Yeah,
you can do a lot.
Hard. It's
they
hard,
say 75, it is hard, but 75% to 90% of visits to the doctors are apparently due to conditions that come from stress. Because like I told you, stress physiologically affects your body. It affects, a lot of other things, not just that you are stressed mentally.
Exactly.
Physically, it affects you. Imagine if you always have that high blood sugar, if you never switch off.
Yes.
You know what it does to your body eventually. Or if you're always having the heart rate, your blood pressure goes up, how damaging that is over long term.
Yes.
So you can do so much as long as you decide. It comes with that choice. In fact, I wanted to share on my last slide a quote. I don't think we have time to go into the... Do we have time, Lala?
Yes, it's okay, Pavla.
Because I also wanted to share about because it's not about the nervous system only, it's also about the hormonal system. We want to encourage having all these beautiful, happy hormones in our body.
Yes.
And there are many simple ways. I mean, tell me if it's not simple, how you can encourage these happy hormones in your body. Like number one, serotonin, the mood stabilizer. Do you suffer, from mood imbalances? So nature is a powerful healer. Having a massage, breath work, we covered, daily gratitude exercises, and also aerobic exercise is good. And I would also mention here the gut health, because a large proportion of serotonin is actually produced in the gut, so you want to eat healthy. Dopamine, the reward chemical. Again, with the Wim Hof method, we actually encourage these happy hormones as well. But you want to celebrate your successes, sleep, get enough sleep, meditation, music, and sunlight is very important. Like Christina told you in her
Yes.
session, in her call, it's very important first thing in the morning, try to get some sunlight in. It's
Yeah.
important for vitamin D, but also for dopamine. They're linked.
And it
Then
resets
we
our
have,
body, right? Body clock, she
yes,
said.
yes,
Yes.
yes, then it's easier to sleep because, you will balance your circadian rhythm. Then endorphins, of course, the painkillers, anything from sex, creative activities, laughter, as I mentioned. Also, it doesn't seem too pain-free as cacao-rich food. Just make sure it's not full of sugar. You can make your own chocolates. I have recipes in my group actually for making your own chocolate. It's very simple, and you know exactly what you put in there, and you can even put some superfoods in. And random acts of kindness or hot salt bath, like these Epsom salts you can
Yes.
put in your bath. And then oxytocin, the love hormone. I mean, all you really need to do, hugs and cuddles or petting your pets, dog or cat, whatever you have, or your children. I
Mm-hmm.
love I love hugging my kids, and they're big now, 19 and 21, but we
Yes.
still hug. And yoga and social time, yes, with your friends.
Yes.
Actually, there is one tip I didn't tell you about increasing the window of tolerance.
Tolerance.
It's like giving this hug to yourself. This is a technique by Peter Levine. He is a trauma researcher, and he suggests that you put your hand in your left armpit, and then you put the left hand around you like
Uh-huh.
this. Close your eyes, breathe, and hug yourself,
Oh,
and feel into any feelings and emotions. And he said this is very powerful for people who have like an anxiety attack or who suffered trauma. He actually uses this, and you can find it online. Peter Levine,
Peter
his name.
Levine.
He's the author of the book Waking the Tiger. Very good book
All
on
right.
trauma.
No, we're
So maybe you can
learning
try
so
that.
much from you, Pavla. Imagine things we take for granted, actually backed up by science, right? So,
Yes,
backed up by history, backed up by a lot of researches. So, who would have thought, right? All right. So, is this
yes.
the last slide? This happy hormone slide? Oh, there you
This is
go.
one slide I wanted to show you
Yes.
because I love this slide. I often say it in my sessions, don't be too hard on yourself. We are so judgmental of ourselves. We are our own worst judges sometimes, and we always
Exactly.
strive for this perfection, especially moms. Yes, we want only
Yes.
the best for our kids. We want the best for our family. Nothing but the best will do. And if we don't manage, because we don't, because it's impossible,
Yes,
we
actually.
beat ourselves up about it. And I love this form of art. It comes from Japan. I believe the name is kintsugi. And it is this celebrating of the cracks. It's actually the cracks in these pots or vases. They are accentuated. They are not covered or hidden. They are accentuated with the gold paint, because to represent that it's the wounds, it's the cracks that actually, or our imperfections that actually make us beautiful and perfect. And I really love this because I think it's something we have to keep in our mind, that we don't have to be perfect. We're
That's
perfect
such
just as we are.
that's such a lovely illustration, Pavla, right? Perfection is oftentimes, especially amongst us Filipinos, no, moms, we tend to have, as you said, it's not out of anything else. It's rather out of, your desire to just give everything and your best to your children. But in doing so, it causes us stress that we don't need to. And so, as Pavla
Very
has
true.
shown, right, in this the way she has pictured it based on, this, what's the name again, Pavla, for this
I
kind of
believe it's
artwork?
kintsugi, kintsugi in
Kitsugi in
Japanese. It's a
Japanese, right?
Japanese art.
Yeah, so it celebrates the imperfections, right? It's
Yes.
actually quite beautiful because of that imperfection. So be able to just, chill, so to speak, relax. Everything is not
Yes.
gonna fall apart just because we're not perfect, just because you didn't, exactly executed everything. So Pavla has been very, very, has a very big role in helping me actually calm down, because I'm, one of the traits that I don't really like, especially now, is, being a perfectionist, and I'm, trying to just let things be. So I thank you so much, Pavla. Just for the last, before we actually leave, let's read some of the comments. Mara said, wow, humming. The farthest from my mind, but it's one of the easiest to do. And it's good for our mental and emotional state. Good to know. I'll do it more often. Yes, Miss Rams. All right. So we thought we just hum because we're bored or something, but actually it does have, okay, the reason why we actually do that is because it's actually good for our health, right? So Sammy also wants to say, strongly agree, mental health is so important, especially now that most of our lives are lived online. Yes, that's also one of Pavla's message, or when she mentioned kanina, that causes stress. So we also need to have time away from our gadgets, as Pavla said, because we're supposed to be made or created to actually go outside, do, physical work, and not just watch TV, or, do online stuff. And finally, Miss Rams, forcing oneself to smile intentionally for a longer period during an emotional stress situation. It magnetized my mind and emotions to something delightful that can be seen in my eyes and skin. Wow, that's so deep, Miss Rams. But that's so powerful. Thanks for that comment.
Love it.
Yes. Again, Pavla, thank you so much for being in the show. And I pray that it's not the last time that you can be here. So, again, if you want to join, Pavla's Wellness, World of Wellness, all you need to do is go to the Facebook page. Mami Lala is also a part of that group. So, I'll see you there. All right. So, with that, thank you so much,
I
Pavla.
would also like to
Yes.
share a last message. I have
Yes,
it on the
Pavla.
last slide if
Okay,
you'd like to share
let's
it.
go back. Okay. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. There's one more slide. Okay.
Yes, in fact, the psychiatrist Viktor Frankl, you might know him. He once said that between any stimulus, meaning like a stressful stimulus or stressful thought, there is always this space. And in this space is our power to choose our response. And
So choose.
any trauma is not the things that's happening, it's your response to what is happening to you. And that always remains your choice.
Exactly.
So bad stuff happens, but if you believe in yourself and at being an active participant in life and your free will and practice these techniques, if you need help, always seek help. That is very important. If you realize that it's difficult to cope on your own, please seek help and ultimately choose wisely. And if you want to join my group, I'll be happy to see you there. If you want to join my sessions, I'll be happy to see you as well and guide you through it. And it was my pleasure being here.
Yes, it is indeed a pleasure, Pavla, and I hope that you would come back to us again. Definitely, you see the ting on my phone, so people are also texting and messaging on my private messenger. So thank you so much, Pavla, again for gracing our show, and we have learned so much, right?
I
So,
hope so. Thank
oh,
you.
yes, it's real. This is something that worth watching on replay, especially the breathing techniques, and then the reason behind why we should actually be smiling, why we should actually be doing the things that we do. We just know that we need to do it, but exactly why? So Pavla has actually enlightened us today, right? Yes, Pavla.
And to teach your children,
All
to teach
right.
them from young, because these are life strategies that can actually save their life. later on, save them from illness, and children are quick to learn. My dream is to teach children in the schools because school is so stressful, especially in Malta. We have very stressful, competitive scholastic
Yes.
system.
Same here
So
in
it's so
Asia.
important.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes, it's very
same.
much grade focused. Yes.
Yes.
So if you can teach your children to use their breath to relax before every meal, maybe to relax, to switch in the digestion, because, like I told you, there are no enzymes, in your digestive system being released when you're running away from a tiger. Your body
Exactly.
doesn't waste energy, so you want to be into that rest and digest state, and couple of breaths can get you there quickly.
Wow.
Yes,
Awesome.
and do laughter, playtime. It's so important. It's good for you. Sometimes you're so focused on work, work, work. No, actually, you need to play.
Yes. Do you see how, Pavla's voice can actually calm you? No matter, like, when you attend her sessions, like I attend already one of her sessions, her voice alone can make me relax. All right. So she's always in a state, I think, as Pavla said, this is something that she has mastered because she has intentionally, trained herself to do so. So again, Pavla, thank you so much for being here today. And with that, we'd like to say thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Good morning again, Pavla. Until next time, this is Mami Lala, Mami Guiding saying bye.
Bye.
Bye.